Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to start our fourth unit. We're going to be looking at graphing linear equations and then also writing them as well. So we're going to take those linear equations that we were solving in our last unit and be able to plot them on a graph. We're also going to be able to take a graph line and write linear equations from them. To get started though, we're going to do some review today in this first topic of how exactly do we plot points on a coordinate plane? So what exactly is a coordinate plane again? You can see it's this graph, and the graph has 4 quadrants in it, and it has these 2 lines that run horizontal and vertical. That horizontal line is called our x-axis. That vertical line is called our y-axis. And now the point where those 2 lines intersect, right here in the middle, is called the origin. And the origin is where we're going to start whenever we are graphing these points on our coordinate plane. So how do we plot points on the coordinate plane? Our coordinates are written as x, y values. The x value is always written first. And then the second value is our y value. So if our point was 3, 5, the 3 would represent our x value. That's how many places on the x-axis we would move. And then the 5 would represent our y value. That's how many places on the y-axis we would move. So how do we plot these points on a coordinate plane? So let's start with this point, 2, 3. 2 is my x value, 3 is my y value. So since my x value is positive, I start at the origin. Since my x value is positive, I'm moving to the right on the x-axis. Always start with the horizontal line, the x-axis. And so I move 2 to the right, 1, 2. But I don't put a dot there yet because I have to move 3 on the y-axis, which means from 1, 2, I have to now go up 1, 2, 3. So point number 1 will be located right there. So let's look at number 2. Negative 2 is my x value. 3 is my y value. I'll make a better y there for you. So I start at my origin. I start with my x value on my x-axis. Negative 2 means I'm going back 2. And then negative 3 for my y means I'm going down 1, 2, 3. So point number 2 is located there. 2, negative 3. 2 is an x value. 1, 2. Then negative 3 for the y. I'm going down. 1, 2, 3. So that's point 3. Point 4, negative 2, 3. Negative 2 on the x-axis. 1, 2. I'm going back. And then positive 3 on the y. Up 1, 2, 3. So just remember, when you are graphing coordinates, always start with the x value on the x-axis. Know whether you're going positive to the right or positive to the left. With the y value then, you're plotting it second. Know whether you're going positive up on the graph or negative down on the graph. All right, so if our points are already on the graph, how do we write those coordinates? Well, remember, we always want to start with the x value first. So to get to point A up here, we're going to start at the origin. And we're going to count how far over we go on the x-axis. Here we go 1, 2, 3. And then we go 4 on the y, or count up on the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've gone 3 on the x-axis and 4 up on the y-axis. So let's look at letter B. Letter B is right here. So I'm starting at the origin. I'm going to go back 1, 2, 3. So negative 3 is going to be my x. And I'm going to go up 1, 2. Well, that's a 2 on the y. So negative 3, 2. Let's look at letter C. I'm going back 1, 2. And then I'm down 1, 2, 3, 4. So I went back 2 on the x. And I went down 4 on the y. Letter D, starting at the origin, I go over 6, positive 6, and down 1, 2, 3. So -3 on my y. And then letter E. Letter E is right here in the center. Letter E is on our origin. So let's see how we write its coordinate. How many did I travel on the x-axis? Well, I traveled 0. What about the y-axis? How many do I travel on the y-axis? Again, I didn't travel anywhere, so it's 0. So the coordinate for the origin is 0, 0. Now let's take a look at how your homework's going to work. In your homework, you're going to be given big graphs. And you're going to have 5 different points that you're going to put on that same graph. So I'm just going to put 3 of them on here. You'll have to put all 5. So let's look at letter C, 8, 6. So I start at my origin. I do the x value first, go over to 8, and then up 6. Now after I put my dot, I'm going to label that with C. So I know that that's point C that I've labeled. Let's go with point D, 4, 5. X-axis 4, y-axis up 5. Point D, label that. And then let's do one more. E is -3, 1. So -3 on our x-axis is back 3, and then up 1. So, at this point, go ahead into your Google Classroom. You can work through that homework assignment. If you have any questions, you can always reference this video again. If you still have questions, please reach out to me. We'll see you next time.